Nowrasteh is an immigration policy analyst for the Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank. He joins us live. So, repeat after me. Some good news.
It is some news. The president.
You said some news. Some good news.
It's some news. I mean, it's good and bad. We don't. It's
illegal
only
immigration went down.
Yeah, but it might be for various reasons that are good or bad. It could be that the economy is not attracting them enough, which is bad news for the American economy.
But less illegals are coming to America.
Right. Yeah.
Good news.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely. But it depends why it's going on. Is it going on because we've spent a lot more money at the border over the last couple decades and we're wasting a lot of money on more border bureaucrats? Or has it gone down because the U.S. economy isn't attracting them anymore? That could be bad.
So let's get to that. So before the inaugural, as you heard Trace report, fair and balanced, he had the facts. Before the inauguration of Donald Trump, there was a surge of people trying to get across the border, illegals trying to get to America. They were afraid of Donald Trump building the wall and his rhetoric, right?
There was also a surge prior to the election going on in the first place. Remember the numbers? Well, the numbers throughout 2016 were above those of 2015, and the numbers in 2015
okay, we'll get to those.
I
promise I'll let you make all those points. Let's just talk about the actual question I asked you.
Yeah.
Before the inaugural, there was a surge in illegals trying to get across the border before Donald Trump took office. True?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so they were afraid that he was actually going to crack down on it.
Well, as I said, the surge
I'll let you go back to 2015, but let's talk about the reality.
Before the election even occurred, and it continued after the election occurred.
But again, I just want to establish.
So trying to say that it's attributable entirely to Donald Trump, I think, is ignoring the fact.
I didn't say entirely. I said it was good news that illegal immigration has started to drop.
Yeah, and I agree with you about that, of course.
Okay, and so fast forward month one of the Trump administration, all of a sudden, Trace says, in terms of apprehensions at the border, it's the lowest total in 5 years.
It's actually the lowest total in 17 years when you take a look at the months going back to the year 2000. It is, of course, only 1 month, and it's been 1 month since the president.
And it can change, because you're right about that point.
Well, yeah, 1 month.
It's only 1 month. But in 1 month, you're saying it's even better than Trace said. You're saying that it's the lowest total of apprehensions at the border, meaning less people trying to cross, getting caught trying to cross, in 17 years. So that's good news.
It is. Recall, of course, during
Donald Trump's policy starting to work?
Not necessarily. He hasn't really had much time. It's a lot of rhetoric. There was an increase in the number of illegals coming across before he came in. So we'll see how that average shakes up over the period of time. A lot of people realize that I think that President Trump's bark is worse than his bite, and I think we're going to see the numbers increase going forward.
But maybe his bark is actually having an impact.
It might, but a lot of the big decreases and the decrease in the number of asylum seekers from Central and South America, mainly children and women who are trying to seek asylum who are counted as apprehended. And if they're being turned away, then there's a lot of other problems.
Sure. You're saying
well, no. You can take a look at the numbers when you dig into the numbers of people who are apprehended. It has unaccompanied alien children and the family units listed there. And there's a much bigger drop in those individuals than there are in adults who are coming by themselves.
But here's my problem with your approach. I went back and looked at what you said during the presidential transition before we got these numbers. And it seems that you're so anti-Trump that you wouldn't. Here's what you said in November. You said to the Associated Press Television, quote, he's doubling down on all of his anti-immigrant positions. Let's stop there. He's not against legal immigration.
Did you not read his position paper?
He's not against legal immigration.
In his position paper, he said he wanted to cut the number of green cards down to 0 until unemployment is 0 in the United States. And if you take a look at his other positions against the H-1B visa...
He might want to bring that down, but then he wants legal immigrants to come in.
Let me finish. If you follow through all of the positions that he wants to take in his position paper to cut legal immigration by 63%.
I'm just saying, why not be accurate and say his anti-illegal immigration
Because he wants to cut legal immigration by 63%.
Maybe in the short term, but
if President Trump said he wanted to cut legal gun ownership by 63%, you'd say he was anti-gun, which I would say too. So if he wants to cut legal immigration by 63%, I think it's fair to say that he's anti-immigration.
The next sentence you said to the Associated Press is, quote, this is in November, he wants to massively increase immigration enforcement at the border.
Yes.
Okay, and we've got the quote up there. What's wrong with increasing enforcement at the border of our existing laws?
Because of a lot cheaper and easier ways to get enforcement with the laws that doesn't require hiring 5,000 more border agents. Such as what President Eisenhower did in the 1950s of increasing the number of temporary short-term guest worker visas to channel these people into the legal market so we can check them out.
You're telling me that we haven't improved the system since Eisenhower to come up with a way to better use Border Patrol agents, though, if you actually send them to the border?
Oh, in terms of the enforcement ability of the U.S. government on the border, it is a lot better than it used to be, but there's also 20 times as many as there were during Eisenhower's administration, and we're not getting much.
But you said in November, he wants, as if it was a bad thing, he wants to massively increase immigration enforcement at the border. So it looks like it's actually working. He wanted to do that. You said it was a horrible thing in November.
He hasn't done it
and
yet.
the numbers are coming down.
As you said, he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't had the ability to increase the border
He's just started.
yet.
He's talked about it. He's sending people there.
You can't say that he's done it and that he hasn't done it
You
yet.
said in November this is a horrible thing.
It is a bad thing.
How is it a bad thing if illegal immigration is now going down?
We could get the same results much cheaper by not hiring more government employees and unionized government employees and taking 1,000 miles of private property along the border through eminent domain to build a wall, by increasing legal short-term temporary migration to allow people to come through the legal market. It's about deregulating the economy.
Okay, so now you're
That's what Eisenhower did, and that's what worked.
But again, a lot has changed since Eisenhower. But nonetheless, if your issue is really cost and you want to save government money now, all of a sudden. Okay, so
all of a sudden, excuse me, I'm a libertarian. I work at a libertarian think tank. We are very much concerned with decreasing the size of government.
So you do want to decrease the size of the government? Across
the board, including the massive and bloated immigration bureaucracy that clogs the border.
So if cost is the issue, I'm just confused about why you are against the idea that, like, Donald Trump hasn't even built the wall. He's talked about it. And illegal immigration is coming down without spending a dime on the wall.
That's one of the best things about it, but...
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, his talk...
So why are you criticizing basically his entire approach when you say part of your deal is to decrease the cost of and the size and cost of government without even building a single plank in the wall? Illegal immigration appears to be coming down.
For 1 month.
He hasn't spent a penny on it.
For 1 month, and we're going to see what happens going forward. As you said in the beginning of this segment, we're going to see what happens after this month. But he says he wants to spend tens of billions of more dollars
and you're right, it's 1 month.
Immigration.
It went down 40%. It didn't go down 5% or 6%. It went down 40%.
There are almost 12 million illegal immigrants in the United States currently. 70% are entering legally and overstaying. This is a drop in the bucket. And let's not forget that during Barack Obama's administration, the number of illegal immigrants entering each year dropped by over 67%. And it was the first administration in history where the number of illegal immigrants at the end of it was the same as the beginning.
All right, Alex, we'll have to have you back when we get the second month statistics to see if it's still going down.
We'll see. I hope we're going to have a lot more than a few more months to check it out.
But we made progress because you said it is good news that illegal immigration is down. You didn't say it initially, but you eventually got there.
Well, no, it's good news, but it also depends why it's happening. Is it because the U.S. economy is about to enter a recession, or is it because we're spending a lot more money on the border, or is it because we have a windbag in office who says a lot of nonsense?
Wait a second, a windbag? How do you just take a cheap shot like that?
Well, you can't take a cheap
What do you say a windbag?
The president has
He
been
is using this rhetoric, and illegal immigration has actually come down. And that's how you want to address the president of the United States.
The president, during his entire time talking
about this,
do you want to take that back,
or do you just want to?
The president's taken every position possible in immigration throughout his career. I think it's fair to call that windbag.
But it's come down, and you won't fully acknowledge that, and you decide to just throw a cheap shot at him.
I've said that he deserves. I said he deserves a lot of the credit for it. What do you want?
Okay, a lot of the credit, but you still call him that.
Well, when you take every position possible on an issue, I think that's what you deserve to be called.
Okay, Alex, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.